So for example, if we take an old page, this is quite an old design from one of the landing pages we use, and it converts really well, to be fair. We do get like sales calls booked in a lot from this page, right? But what we can do if we want to make it even more beautiful, right, is we can, for example, take a screenshot of this page like so, and then we can copy that image like you can see right here. We can go back to Claude, right? So we're going to open up Claude here. I'm going to select Opus 4.5. Some people say Opus 4.5 is expensive, but just use the free version inside Claude.ai, and then you don't need to worry about that, right? And so from here, for example, we can say, redesign this in HTML, more modern, beautiful, interesting, rewrite the copy, Alex Hormozy style, right? That's literally it, the world's simplest prompt. So we've taken a screenshot, we pasted that in, we asked it to redesign it and make it look more interesting. And then what it's doing over here is beginning to redesign it using HTML, right? And I'll show you how to insert this into your funnel in a second. So for example, if we have a look at this page, right? So this is a redesigned page that we used with Claude Opus 4.5 previously. If we take a look at this page right here and we scroll down, the way that we've done this is we've used Go High Level, and you can use whatever landing page builder you want to use. And then you see how we've got the HTML here. That's literally all the page is, right? It's just blocks of HTML, as you can see. So for example, if we open this up, this is just code, and I don't know how to code, right? I don't know how to code. I don't know what code means. I can understand a little bit of this, but honestly, I'm no expert, and I wouldn't know where to start with most of the CSS that's inside it, right? All this code with .hero before, etc. is all very messy. And so what you can do over here is you can grab the code like you can see from Claude Opus 4.5. So it's creating the modern landing page right here. And it's redesigning the page to create a nicer front end. And then once you've got that HTML block, you can then go over to, for example, your landing page builder, whether that's Elementor or WordPress, whatever CMS you use, and you can use that to start building this out, right? And it's super powerful, but also really easy to do. So we're going to wait for that to load. You can see it's coding in the meantime. I'm going to do some stuff in the background whilst I'm talking, but you know, the main thing to note here is like, this has never been easier and never been better to get better outputs from this, right? I've never seen something that actually creates such good outputs when it comes to design and front end and everything else. And what would be really interesting to test actually is if you took a page like this and then you actually compared it Gemini versus Claude and see which one does the best. In fact, we can actually do that in a second. All right, so if we go over to Gemini here, we're going to use exactly the same prompt that we use inside Claude Opus. So we'll copy that image and paste it inside here. And then we're also going to type in this prompt. So, and then with this prompt, we can plug that in, paste that in, boom, right? And we're going to use Gemini and compare it against Claude Opus. And I honestly think that from what I've seen so far, like Claude Opus is way better. Now, this is just like a tiny little smidgen, right? A little tiny smidgen of what you can do with Claude Opus. But essentially, you can get a feel for how it works and what you can do step by step right here. So we've now got Claude Gemini that's implementing the design. The only thing I don't like about Claude Opus is I mean, look at the UI, right? The UI is super messy. I don't like that. But if you just want to grab the HTML, you can grab it like so. We can open this up, right? Let's zoom out a little bit here. And then you've got the page like this, right? And all you would do is you just make sure that when you're using this, right, that you have the actual embeddable video right here that you can insert in, right? But that page looks a lot more modern and new than something that I've personally built, right? So if we go back to the old page versus the new page, this is the new page, human design, pretty messy, looks a little bit spammy and not that nice, right? What's going on over here, mate? You know what I mean? And we run like a lot of Facebook ads to this page, right? Whereas, for example, if we go over here and we check out this page, look how much nicer and cleaner this page looks, right? And it's just been rewritten completely. It reads much nicer. It's got much more social proof. I would say that's probably much more likely to convert. And then all we need to do is just copy this HTML over here, right? So, for example, if we go to something like Liveweave, I'm not going to paste it straight into my HTML. But if I wanted to redesign it, then I can just paste it into whatever HTML editor I have, right? And you can see it comes up with something like this. And then you can screenshot the next page, the next page, the next page, etc.